All right, welcome back to the iiKnows. It's conference championship week. Um, Last week I went. Do you know what you went?
I was wrong on the Patriots game. I was correct on the Chiefs game.
Correct, on the Saints game.
I was correct on the Saints game, and I was wrong on the Cowboys Rams game.
I got the.
So I went 2-2.
I picked. Yeah, I picked the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I picked the Chiefs. I picked.
You picked you picked the Chargers.
I picked the Chargers and I picked the Eagles. So I went
Yeah.
2-2.
Yeah, we both
But-
went 2-2 on opposite games.
But technically, I went 4-0 against the spread. So last week it was an up week for me since from going 0-4.
down week for me going 3-1.
Yeah, it was rough. I thought I had it in the bag there.
Yeah.
Thought I was gonna get the teams that I wanted in.
Yeah.
Then again, I went 2-2. Can't be mad. Can't be too mad. But
Right. Let's get into the games.
this week, since the Rams won, they're heading to New Orleans, and New Orleans is 3.5-point under favorites.
Yeah, so New Orleans has a couple big losses. Just found out that Ben Watson, while he's not a elite tight end, he's still a relevant factor in their passing game.
Reliable,
Yeah.
reliable.
Yeah, and Sheldon Rankins will be out, so that's a huge loss.
He's not gonna play.
No, he's out. So that's a huge loss for them. And I mean, their front seven throughout the year has been pretty solid, but without him, he's probably their best player in the front seven besides Cameron Jordan.
Yeah,
And he
he's
really
a run stopper.
Yeah, he changes the game for them because they don't really have run-stopping linebackers, and they don't really have another defensive lineman who's gonna make that type of impact on the run game. So it's a huge loss for them this week going up against the Rams, and I think Sean McVay be able to take advantage of that a little bit. But you know, the Saints are at home, so and the Saints do have the experience on their side, so you can never count them out. And on the offensive side of the ball for the Saints, I expect them to play their game. The Rams will probably get some pressure on the interior against the Saints with Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. And
Michael Brock, Dante Fowler.
Michael Brockers won't be doing much besides stopping the run. But so they should be able to get some pressure on him. And personnel-wise, I'm leaning towards the Rams this week. You go ahead.
Oh, so you're picking the Rams?
It's not my official prediction. I want to hear you talk about it a
Hear
little
me
bit.
talk?
Yeah, before I make my official pick.
All right. Well, after watching the game last week, I thought the Rams showed great resilience throughout the game, fighting back against the Cowboys at home and showing off that they could run the ball effectively against this team, which I thought that they could, even though I may have wanted the Cowboys to win. I thought it was a great showing by the Rams and their ability to really eliminate any threats on defense with their offensive line. I thought Andrew Whitworth played a great game, sealed a ton of the edges for Todd Gurley, and really opened up these lanes for him and C.J. Anderson, which has become a new factor on this team. Nobody was really expecting C.J. Anderson to be anything, just Todd Gurley every down, 3-down back, gets all the work. Now you got C.J. Anderson in there, you have to account for him now, and that might take a toll on this Saints defense because they're not used to going against two-back sets. They're used to going against these one-back sets, not like their own. But that could also be helpful for them because they practice against these two-back sets. And sure, they may not have their deep threats like the Rams do, but they have Michael Thomas with the Saints. And the
He's
Saints,
one of the most reliable receivers in the league.
what the Rams need to do to win this week is, well, for us to pick, there's two factors in my opinion. One factor is, are you going to be able to, like I've said every game that the Saints have been in, so you have to make Drew Brees get flustered. You have to give him looks that he's never seen. You got to move people around in the box. Just because Drew Brees, he's experienced in this league. He's seen everything. He knows everything. If you want to get him flustered, you need to show him different looks with a hybrid. like Troy Polamalu and Tom Brady, that's what Tom Brady would get inexperience from. And it would really hurt him because he wouldn't understand what to do. But with Drew, he's the same type of person. And if the Rams can find that one person to play down in the box, give him different looks, disguised looks, you're going to really see Drew Brees get flustered, and they're not going to throw the ball as well. And he's going to be trying to go to Michael Thomas. That leads me to my second point. It's going to be all on Marcus Peters. If Marcus Peters, like he said,
So you're saying Marcus Peters will be on Michael Thomas and not Aqib Talib, who has been their best corner this year?
I'm not going to say he's going to get shadowed. I feel like the Rams are confident enough that they can
Play side to side.
Yeah. Well, because we know Peters, he's a great zone corner. Man-to-man wise, he doesn't have the great technique, and he takes those chances like we say. And we're going to see if Marcus Peters can have this technique and not stray away.
Yeah, with a route runner like Michael Thomas, I think whenever Michael Thomas is lined up on Marcus Peters, Drew Brees is going to be aware, and he's going to be looking towards him because he understands Michael Thomas's ability to run routes. He understands he's played enough years in the league to understand that Marcus Peters is someone who's going to take a lot of chances. And if he just gives him a pump fake on an up and go, Michael Thomas could be open every time.
Yeah, this is where Marcus Peters really needs to be diving into his tape and figuring out Michael Thomas's tendencies. Same with Drew Brees' tendencies.
He has been talking a lot, so we'll see what he does.
It all depends on the first point that I made and this point right here, where if Marcus Peters is smart enough and studies his tape well enough and he plays fine, the Rams are going to come away with this victory, in my opinion. Sure, because their offense, they found their groove last week, and they've shown who they can be against a good defense like the Cowboys, who just came out of nowhere this year. Same with, you could say, the Saints last year. So, do I think the Rams can do it? Yeah. I do think the Rams can pull out a win, but I also think the Saints can pull out the win because I'm not entirely confident with Marcus Peters. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Marcus Peters, but he is a great corner and he can create a lot of turnovers, and he's such a key factor, but he gives up so many big plays, and I don't know if he's smart enough to really go in depth and figure out these tendencies of Michael Thomas, Drew Brees, and etc. So I'm gonna have to pick the Saints in this game. I want the Rams to win, but with that being said, I'm gonna pick the Saints.
Yeah, I expect the Rams to have a very traditional Wade Phillips defensive showcase this week. They're gonna have a lot of interesting blitzes in the front seven, and they're gonna dial up a lot of different stuff that Drew Brees might not have seen. But in the secondary, as far as that goes, they're probably gonna be pretty basic. It's probably gonna be a lot of man-to-man. Probably gonna be a lot of the simple secondary coverages, and I don't think you can do that against Drew Brees because he's going to know that blitzes are coming, and he's going to know it's man-to-man. And Drew Brees is smart enough to be able to get the ball and get rid of it before the blitz gets there. He needs to get John Johnson into the box a little bit more. He needs to put Marcus Peters in favorable situations. And through Wade Phillips' defensive career, while he is a great defensive coordinator, he's not the best at maximizing the secondary's ability. You have to have a very solid secondary that knows their role and just is great at doing what Wade Phillips does. And this isn't necessarily that secondary, in my opinion. They're great players, but it's not necessarily, the play style doesn't necessarily add up to me. So if Drew Brees can find a way to exploit that, which I think he will, Saints will have no problem scoring against this team. On the other side of the ball, with the Rams having one offense, I expect Sean McVay to be well aware that Sheldon Rankins is out. They're going to get a lot of runs early, and then Jared Goff. Yeah, Jared Goff has been killing on play action all season, and I expect that to continue in this game. So I expect it to be a shootout, being in New Orleans, in the Dome, being
hard
loud.
place to win.
Yeah, and it's really going to come down to who has the ball last. And the one weakness we've seen from Sean McVay throughout his career is clock management. And that's where Sean Payton and Drew Brees, having the experience in the playoffs and having the experience in general in the NFL, at the NFL level, playing at the highest level, that's where their experience is going to come up and get them the win. They're going to understand how to play the whole fourth quarter to be the last people with the ball, and they're going to be able to get the final drive to win.
See, but I feel like the Rams are going to try and do what the Eagles did last week to start the game and be able to adjust as well, not like the Eagles did, better than what the Eagles did to their Saints offense, because
Yeah, the Eagles played great the first quarter, but after that it was
I'd say the first half they played great.
yeah.
First half, then after that everything fell apart, and I mean Fletcher Cox was out. He was a big part in that run defense, just like Donald and Sue were. You saw Donald and Sue last week. They played the run tremendously. Like we didn't expect that, and I feel like those two had a conversation. And since Sue has been 0-3 previously in his playoff games, this was probably his biggest game of his career that he had to have, and he knew what his assignments were, and he got the job done. So I feel like Sue's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder, and so is Donald.
Yeah, the Rams defensive line's been playing like the run game's an afterthought all year. They tend to get too far up the field, get out of their gaps, and while that's great when the team's passing, it becomes a liability. But they were able to balance that a little bit better last week, and if they can do the same thing this week, I expect the Rams to get the win. But I do expect Aaron Donald and Damakunsa, who are a little bit of emotional players, to maybe just a couple times throughout the game make that mistake. Maybe Alvin Kamara busts a couple runs, and in the end, like I said, with the clock management, I think the Saints will be able to get a close victory in New Orleans.
Yeah, I feel like the Saints are going to come away with this close win, and it's going to come down in the final play. You know what's going to happen? Drew Brees is going to throw a 7-yard corner route. Michael Thomas over Marcus Peters is going to win the game with 3 seconds.
You know what it's going to be?
3 seconds left in the game.
You know what it's going to be actually? You're going to have Marcus Joyner covering Alvin Kamara out of the backfield. Marcus Peters on Michael Thomas, 1-on-1. Marcus Peters gets beat on a double move. Game.
All right, now it's on to the AFC game, and it's the New England Patriots going to Kansas City to play the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are favored by 3 points in this game.
Yeah, so the key for the Chiefs in this game is Bob Sutton just understanding how to slow down this Patriots offense. They don't really have the weapons they did before, but with Tom Brady and Josh McDaniels running the offense, we saw last week, they're able to put up points. I mean, the Chargers ran a weak cover 3 the whole game. That's not going to work, so you can scratch that off your list automatically.
Yeah.
And Chiefs offense, they're going to score. They're going to do their thing. Bill Belichick, he has a tendency to take out the biggest playmaker on a team, receiving or rushing wise. So he's going to have to make a choice between Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, who are 2 elite receivers in the league, and one of them is going to eat regardless. And in the games that Andy Reid has faced Bill Belichick, his offense has never struggled, ever. It's always been that Patriots just scored more. So that's what that this game falls on Bob Sutton's shoulders. And I've been saying he's not a great defensive coordinator throughout the year, and he needs to shut me up this week. It needs to happen if the Chiefs have any chance.
Not Patrick Mahomes this week.
No.
You believe in Patty Mahomes to get the job done?
Against the Patriots defense this year? Yeah. Yeah. Tom Brady, Josh McDaniels. Look, they've had success doing this, playing this offense for the past 10 years. Don't change anything. You don't have the weapons to anyways. Don't change anything. You've had success doing it. There's no reason to change anything, you know? Bill Belichick, Brian Flores, they've got to step up. They've got to find ways to confuse Pat Mahomes, who is a first-year starter, and just give the defense a spark that they haven't had throughout the year. And you know, this is going to be a game that's up to the defensive coaches, because the offenses they're going to do their thing. They're going to do whatever they want, most likely. So whichever defense steps up more, that's who's going to win. And in a game like this, where it's in Arrowhead, Chiefs have a few more playmakers on defense.
Might snow, might be really cold again.
Might snow. I'm leaning Chiefs as of right now. I'm not going to give a final prediction until you talk, so go ahead.
All right, well, they played earlier in the season, the Chiefs and the Patriots, and Patrick Mahomes was talking about how Patriots did a good job disguising everything and really making him think and really making him make mistakes, and he really gave credit to Bill Belichick for that and the entire Patriots defense. because you saw in that game that Dante Fowler, I mean not Dante Fowler, Dante Hightower really fooled him, thinking he was going to go play on the running back into the flat and pulled off and picked off a slant that he took almost back to the house.
Yeah.
And then you also saw Patrick Mahomes get flustered, go out of the pocket and throw into triple coverage. And that's what you're going to get out of the young guy, Patrick Mahomes. He's going to make those silly mistakes, and then he's going to also he's not experienced enough to read defenses like maybe Tom Brady is.
Yeah.
Because Tom Brady's been in this league for so long, and he's been the best quarterback of all time, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the point. The point is, Bill Belichick, if he wants to continue his success and make another Super Bowl run, he's going to have to confuse Patrick Mahomes this week. I'm not really worried about what the Patriots' offense is going to do against the defense. I'm more worried about, can Bill Belichick really utilize his mind and strategy to fluster Mahomes again and really make him not feel like an MVP? Because after that first half, we saw Patrick Mahomes put up 31 in Gillette Stadium, and that's unacceptable for the Patriots. If you're going to continue to let, if you can't make adjustments mid-game like Bill Belichick should be able to do, and the defense should be able to do, then there's going to be something wrong. And you're not in Gillette Stadium. You don't have a home crowd behind you.
Yeah, if the Chiefs are scoring 31 in the second half in Arrowhead, that's a problem. That's a problem for the Patriots.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big problem. So you have to assume that the Patriots are going to be playing better defense because they're going to have to step up. They're going to have to cover well. They're going to have to fill their running lanes and play their checks and study their tendencies in film, because that's what it's going to be all about. Tom Brady, it's Tom Brady. In the playoffs, you heard what he said after they played the Chargers. He said that everybody had counted them out, which, in retrospect, in hindsight, yeah, they should have been counted out because they don't have a roster. Mm-hmm. They don't have. This is one of the worst rosters in the past 20 years, to be fair.
20 years?
They've been in the playoffs for 20 years.
Yeah.
And to see them really succeed against the Chargers, who many people picked to win the Super Bowl, and they were one of the favorites, and they really just blew them out of the water at home, sure, but they still blew them out of the water, gave them something that they were not expecting, and that was an ass-kicking. Tom Brady's here to stay, and
at least a couple more years. I think he'll be an above-average starter next year.
I think he's going to continue the high level that he's been playing at. Maybe not as high because he doesn't have the weapons. Patriots have 12 draft picks in this draft. They're going to get reloaded, restocked. Yeah. They're going to be one of the best. They're going to be the team to win it next year, but that's next year. Right now, I'm expecting Patriots to run down the Chiefs' throats, give them all that they got, get a win, go to the Super Bowl. Because you know what? Whenever you count Tom Brady out, he gets it done. He's been doing that his entire career. He did it at Michigan. He did it whenever he was a rookie. I mean, well, he didn't start as a rookie.
His first year starting.
His first starter game, his first season, and he just took that and rode with it to the end, to right now. And that's what you're going to get out of Tom Brady. You're going to get a fighter and an underdog who thinks he's always the underdog.
If this game was at home, then all those points, they're accurate. But Tom Brady, he hasn't won on the road.
He hasn't.
So those points are moot. They don't matter to me this week.
Really?
Not really. I mean, the Patriots are still going to do their thing. They're still going to score, but in the end, I'll take the home team because
the home team has won most of the time. I will say that
because they're in Arrowhead, and while both these defenses are not very good, Patriots have some stingy veterans, smart veterans on their side. Chiefs have some big names. They got Chris Jones. Justin Houston really showed up last week. They got Eric Berry coming back. That's huge.
He might not play.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I heard he was playing.
I heard he's questionable. And he might not play.
He's playing. It's the biggest game of his life. He's playing.
I don't know, man.
But that's besides the point. In the end, I'm going to take the Chiefs to get the win. Andy Reid's going to get back to the Super Bowl for the first time since he lost to this team way back when.
I don't know. I really think Tom Brady He doesn't need to be at home.
He hasn't won on the road. He hasn't won on the road.
You heard what he said
Mm-hmm.
after the game against the Chargers.
Look,
He has a fire in him.
Look. Will the Patriots be here next year? Was I wrong about the dynasty ending? Yes. And yes.
Yeah.
I will admit that.
Yeah.
But has Tom Brady had playoff success on the road? No. And it doesn't start
They
now.
don't play on the road.
The Chiefs will win.
They shouldn't even be on the road. It's
But
a
regardless-
coaching error by freaking Bill Belichick putting Gronk back there as the safety instead of an actual safety. They'd be
Regardless-
playing at home right now. They're the
regardless-
better team.
Regardless,
They're the better team. The
regardless,
Patriots are the better.
they're on the road, and they have not won a road playoff game under Tom Brady.
Well, let's just say if the Chiefs do win and Patrick Mahomes is named MVP, whoever wins in the NFC, they're winning the championship. They're winning the Super Bowl because MVPs never win Super Bowls.
So, you're taking the Saints over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
If the Chiefs win.
All right, that's going to do it for this week. Go ahead and tune in next week. We're going to have our first big board. Talk about some of the coaches being hired.
NFL prospects.
Yeah. It's NFL big board. All right, thanks for watching. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. Share the video.